Fellow FPL managers, it is wildcard week. It is here. There's so many of you wanting to use the wildcard, and I think I have found the best one to make. So let's get right into it. Sorry guys, need to interrupt the video for just a second. I recorded this just before Gabriel got injured, and it looks like he has picked up a long-term injury because he's had to get subbed off straight away in the 16th minute. So yeah, I talk about Gabriel a lot in this video. Every time you see or hear me say Gabriel, imagine I'm saying Saliba. Now, making this wildcard team was actually not too difficult. I thought it was going to be harder, but for me, it's fairly straightforward. Now, with this wildcard video, I'm going to show you the 15-man squad. Then I'm going to show you how it lines up for Game Week 31, Game Week 32, and Game Week 33, so we can see when to use the bench boost and when to use the triple captain if you still have it left. If you don't, you still have assistant manager maybe. That's something you'll be using after Game Week 34 because there still could be a double game week before the end of the season. And with this wildcard team, I'm going to assume you, the viewer who wants to use your wildcard, are in the depths of despair and don't have a lot of free transfers left. So we're only going to be using 2 free transfers in Game Week 32 and Game Week 33. Keep it as real as possible. If you do have extra free transfers, then your team's just going to look better, basically. Now, just before we get into this team, I want to say that all the doubles and the blanks, we're going off predicted fixtures. So the blanks in Game Week 34, we're assuming they get postponed to double Game Week 33 because that's what's predicted at the moment. But things could change since I record this video. But it probably won't. This is probably the most likely scenario. But if it does change, you know, we'll have to make a new wildcard video on it, won't we? First off, in goal, you're going to be quite confused. You know, Rise there, that one's quite obvious. Best goalkeeper to own at this point, especially with the double in Game Week 33. But Sanchez is a weird one, and I'm going to explain it when we go through the future game weeks and when to use the bench boost, because you will understand. Trust me, okay? In defence, we double up on Arsenal with Gabriel. That, to me, is quite obvious. The Arsenal defence is amazing. Their fixture run is good. I would triple up on the Arsenal defence if I didn't plan on getting Saka in this team in the future. Along with Gabriel in defence, we have Munoz, obviously the best defender to own at this point in the game. 2 double game weeks in a row, an amazing attacking potential. Alongside Dan Burn, playing away to Leicester, a Leicester team who literally cannot score for shit right now, and a double in Game Week 32, and a pretty good double game week, may I say. Then we have Gavardio and Van Heck. Now, they're going to be on the bench for Game Week 31, but like I said, we'll get into that later. These two don't really have the best of game weeks in Game Week 31, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be putting their talents to use in later game weeks when they actually have a good fixture. With this draft being kind of expensive, I mean, my budget in FPL is quite low this season and I can afford it, so most of you probably can. The best way to save money on this is going from Gabriel to Timber, or maybe if you want to sell Gavardio to a cheaper Man City defender, but Gavardio is the only Man City defender I like in this game, so I personally would not recommend that. In midfield, we have Salah and Palmer. Now, Salah's the obvious one. He's not going anywhere. With Palmer, he could be in this team. At the end of the day, if Saka plays in Game Week 30, I'm recording this before the Arsenal game, if Saka does play, then he could be another way to save money. Just get Saka in your team instantly instead of waiting for the double game week. Just bring him in instead of Palmer straight away because Palmer's form isn't that good. And like I said, this saves you a bit of money. But for now, we're going to assume Saka is still a bit of a minute's risk, and we're just going with Salah and Palmer because Palmer's still a powerhouse of a player. Like, he's not bad at the end of the day. He's just on some bad form. The 3 other midfielders, they're all cheap midfielders and they're all doubling, okay? First off is Ismaila Sarr on insane form right now. I believe he's better than Eze, okay? Argue with the wall. Sarr is on better form and he's been more clinical recently. Jacob Murphy, with reliable minutes and decent underlying data, is so cheap and allows you to afford the expensive players on this team. Along with that amazing double game week in Game Week 32, is very hard to ignore. Then we have the final cheap midfielder in Rodgers, who will be there for the double in Game Week 33. There isn't a lot of flexibility with this midfield, but you're not really going to need to change this midfield much at all until the very end of the season, where you might want some mid-price players. But that's a future problem, and with future problem comes future free transfers that you can deal with those problems. So I wouldn't worry about that too much right now. Then finally, in the front line, we have Mateta, we have Isak, we have Watkins. Now, this is very simple, guys. It's very obvious. It's the only front 3 you should really be considering. As for Marmoush, we are going to bring him in for a later game week when he does double, but I'd much rather own Isak for Game Week 31 and Game Week 32 instead of Marmoush, and I think everyone else would too. Along with Watkins has 2 pretty solid game weeks as well. He's not someone I'd be willing to sacrifice. So some of the free transfers are going to be going in that front line later on. But yeah, on the whole, this is the wildcard team. Like I said, we're going to take a look in just a second about how we can line up, when we're going to use the bench boost, when we can use the triple captain. It's quite unorthodox, to be honest. You're going to see a lot of people using the bench boost in Game Week 33 after using wildcard in Game Week 31. But I strongly believe if you don't have a lot of free transfers, bench boost in game week 32 is so much better. I know it's a smaller double game week, but all them Newcastle players who have a great double in game week 32, you're going to want to own 3 of them. You know, it's common sense. In game week 33, they all play away to Aston Villa, and you're going to be stuck with those guys on your bench, which ideally is not what you want. So for me, we're going to go for bench boost 32, then triple captain in game week 33. Anyway, let's go into the plans for the future with this wild card. Game week 31, first of all, you leave Van Heck, Guvardio on the bench, you're leaving Sanchez on the bench, and you're leaving Rodgers on the bench. Hopefully, he doesn't get too many points on the bench, because this season he's been, you know, a bench points master. Every time he gets benched by the entire community, he gets at least 10 points. It's like FPL heritage at this point. As for captain in this team, you could go Salah or Isak. To be honest, it's quite a tough choice, but, you know, people will look a lot more into it closer to the deadline. We're not focusing on that too much right now. We're just focusing on the wildcard team as a whole. You know, triple Palace, triple Newcastle, double Arsenal defence, Salah, Palmer. Your team is looking good, but this is the most boring game week of them all. The next one we need to go into is the bench boost game week, guys. So the players you will be bench boosting is Sanchez home to Ipswich, Rodgers away to Southampton, Guvardio home to Crystal Palace, and Van Heck home to Leicester. Now, guys, this bench will look a lot better than almost all game week 33 benches. I know game week 33 is a bigger double game week, but at the end of the day, if you own as many double game week players as possible, that's only 12. So realistically, you're not going to have double game week players sat on your bench anyway, because you're not going to own triple Aston Villa. Let's be honest, it's a bad move. You're not going to own Aston Villa defender, and you're not going to own 3 Aston Villa attackers. So the thought of even having double game week players on your bench in game week 33, get that out of your head. You need to see which game week is going to give you the best bench with single game week players, guys. We've got to be realistic. And for me, game week 32 is so much better for your bench. As you can see, that's potential returns from all 4 players on your bench. And looking at the team, it's looking even stronger. We have 6 double game week players, first of all. We're not going to need to use a single free transfer in this game week. We're going to save the 2 free transfers for game week 33. As for the starting 11 itself, triple Crystal Palace, triple Newcastle, Watkins away to Southampton, Salah in the team, Palmer in the team home to Ipswich, double Arsenal defence. With this team, you simply cannot avoid a green arrow. You know, you could try hard, but you're almost guaranteed to get the biggest rank jump of the entire season. This team is so powerful, and I think you'll struggle to find a better bench boost game week 32 team than this. And like I said, I don't think benches in game week 33 are going to be that strong. Now, obviously, there is, you know, another side to the coin. Isak, triple captain in game week 32, is probably the best triple captain for the rest of the season. The guy is insanely good, and he's playing 2 home games against 2 mid-table teams. But to be fair to Man United and Crystal Palace, they're both finding all right form at the moment, so Newcastle may not have the easiest time against them, but let's be honest, they're going to cook. They're going to score lots of goals, and there's clean sheet potential there as well. So yeah, that's your bench boost. That's your big daddy of a game week, the one that is going to give you the big push to the top 10k, the top 50k, top 100k, whatever you're aiming for, even if you're aiming for the top 5 mil, you know. Don't give up. Keep fighting on. As for game week 33, we will be selling Palmer and Isak. They are gone, guys, okay? And instead, in their place, you're going to be bringing Marmoush and Bukayo Saka, assuming he's back, and I'm pretty sure he will be. That way, we have 10 double game week players going into game week 33. And as you can see, guys, the bench here sucks. We don't need it. We don't want to use that bench. We got triple Arsenal, triple Palace. We got double Man City. We got double Aston Villa. The team looks strong. Now, with this game week, triple captain can be played on numerous players. If you're one of those guys that's going to have Haaland, he's always an option, but at the end of the day, he's, you know, a big injury risk, he's a minutes risk, and he's on bad form anyway. Marmoush is more reliable minutes now. Haaland's injured, but at the end of the day, he's not that guy, you know, he's not someone you want to triple captain. Whereas Bukayo Saka, with probably the best double game week out of all the double game weeks this season, he is looking like an amazing triple captaincy option, you know. Second most assists in the league despite being injured for half of the season. On penalties and easy fixtures, it's a no-brainer that you can go for a triple captain on Bukayo Saka. And it's a very easy switch from Palmer. The best part about all of this is that the one player that isn't going to double is Mohamed Salah. And Mohamed Salah will probably outscore anyone on this team anyway, despite not having a double because of the amazing form he's on. I mean, he's already broken his FPL record of 303 points with like 8 game weeks to go. The guy is ridiculous. Now, we're not going to look to game week 34 because all of you using wildcard in game week 31 should and probably do have your free hit left, because a lot of these players that are doubling in game week 33 are going to blank in game week 34. Anyway, guys, that is the game week 31 wildcard team. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know what you would do differently. But yeah, If you did make it this far, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you all in the next video.